Hello.
And welcome to Film Bastards.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Welcome, people, to episode 570 of Film Bastards. I am one of your co-hosts, Mark Foster, and as ever, I am joined by
Ian Loring. Hello.
We're not joined by Bex this week. She won't even be joining us later on. We've had bouts of illness in our house, so Becky hasn't managed to get to the films that we're going to cover. The films we are going to cover are A Complete Unknown, and we're going to cover Wolfman, because me and Ian are the two people that went to see it. Just me and Ian.
It is incredible just how poorly that film has done.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I honestly, I think in the US, I'm pretty sure Night Swim, aka That Pool's a Cunt,
Yep.
did better than Wolfman. You know, the follow up to The Invisible Man. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. I'm stunned. I'm stunned.
Yeah, I'm not stunned in some ways because I didn't actually realise that it was out this week until I looked on the Cineworld app to look for times to A Complete Unknown and went, what the fuck? Wolfman's out.
I swear Universal just gave up. And the fact that the poster, unless I missed something, have you seen the poster with like somebody covering their eyes?
Yes.
That's not in the film, is it?
No.
Didn't think so.
No. Also, the Leigh Whanell being asked about Invisible Man 2 and saying, look, I don't think anybody wants it, so let's just stop talking about it.
Brutal.
Yeah.
No fucker wants Wolfman 2, to the extent that in the last hour or so, I don't know whether you've seen, Robert Eggers' next film has been announced.
Ooh.
It's called Werewolf, WULF. Coming out Christmas Day 2026.
Fucking hell. To be fair, that guy gets it in, doesn't he?
Like, make hay while the sun shines, fella.
Yep. Seems like a
Over
good dude as well.
150 million globally, that fucker is done. It's gonna do over 100 million in the US. Wild.
Yep. For the film it is as well. That is well played. Don't know how he's done it. He's tapped into something, and I'm all for it.
Love it.
Yeah. We're a Pod Syndicate podcast. This is for the shows, good, bad, and the weird, entertainment landfill, change my first rewatch project. Before we get into it, we do have to kind of address the sad news that happened last week. No, not the Nazi salutes or anything like that, but the passing of David Lynch, and that's a biggie, isn't it?
It sucks.
Yeah.
Absolute dick. Look, you are more attuned to David Lynch. I'm going to let you take it. It's horrible. But a lifelong smoker. It was probably the end he was going to have. Like, was he taken a little bit like earlier than I thought he would? Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those where 78 is both actually quite old, but also seems too young.
Yeah.
When you think about the fact that you've got, people like Clint, for instance, is 96, 97 now? And the guy's still fucking, Juror Number 2 is a good movie. So yeah, not saying fucking Clint should be dead now or anything like that. I'm just saying that that's 20 years. That's happened there. You'd like to think that, but yeah, lifelong smoker only gave up smoking 3-4 years ago, which seems a little bit like it's kind of a bit late that now. What was your first exposure to Lynch?
Oh shit!
Because I was
Twin
talking
Peaks season 1. Sorry.
Yeah. I was talking about was that when it was on TV?
Oh God, no. I mean, no. I would have been 6 or 7.
Oh yeah, you would have been. Yeah.
X-Files season 1. I watched just after it aired. So like that's kind of like how. And I don't think I was even really old enough to be watching that. So, and obviously X-Files was like a Twin Peaks was a massive inspiration for X-Files.
Yeah.
I'm kind of mentioning it.
Yeah.
How about yourself?
Mine actually was weird. Mine. So I watched Twin Peaks, but not when it was first on. I watched it with my mum. My mum had watched it when it was first on, and then when they showed it again before season 2 started, I watched it with them then. So it was on BBC Two, if I remember correctly. And so I remember watching it then. And really kind of like enjoying just the sheer kind of oddity of it. And then I watched... I'd seen Dune, but I'd not been aware that it was David Lynch. But then because I really liked Twin Peaks, I remember going in to Take One Video, and I rented at the same time, because I used to basically, I could go in, like I've said on the podcast before, I could go in and rent whatever I wanted, and they just didn't fucking say anything. So, even though I was like 10, 11 years old, I could still take out 18 movies. And so, at the time, I remember renting Ambulance, the Eric Roberts movie, and Wild at Heart, which was like one of the new releases at that point. And because I also really liked Nick Cage as well. And the week before, I think I'd rented Red Rock West and Raising Arizona. So I was in a bit of a Nicolas Cage thing, but I also saw the David Lynch thing. So the first time I ever watched a film knowing that it was Lynch was Wild at Heart. And then I was saying to Bex, I remember when The Straight Story came out and it was getting nominated for like Best Picture and everything like that, I'd gone to the cinema to see that, and they were also doing like a retrospective of David Lynch films. So I'd already seen Elephant Man on the big screen, but I got to see Eraserhead, Wild at Heart, and Lost Highway on the big screen at the same time, all in like a week when The Straight Story came out, and sort of that very much fucking nailed me in as being like, yeah, this is a door filmmaker. And then when Twin Peaks came out on DVD, it was around Christmas time, and I worked at HMV, and my mum got me it for Christmas. And I'd remembered watching it and really liking it. And then I said to Bex, we've got to watch this. And so I got laid off just after Christmas at HMV, which is something they used to do. They'd hire loads of people at the start of the year on like 12-month contracts. And then once it got to the end of they'd just boot them out. And I had another job, but it didn't start till like the start of February. So I was all right and like that, but I had like a month of not doing anything. And so like every day when Bex would get home from work, I'd have dinner made and we'd just go bang and just watch like a load of Twin Peaks and then just rifle trucking through it. And I remember finishing it and Bex immediately going, we need to find season 2. And so we bought all of season 2 on VHS from eBay whenever they came up.
So how long did it actually take to get through it then?
The first season,
yeah,
when we watched it, it was over like 3 nights, I think. We were getting through it. So what we'd do is, because we were at the time, basically at the time it was kind of like what that'll have been like 2000, I think, 2000 or 2001 maybe, 2001 I think it'll have been. Me and Bex were basically at that point borderline alcoholics. So what happened is Bex would get home from work, we'd have dinner, watch an episode of Twin Peaks, and then we'd go out, get home at about 11, 12 o'clock, watch another episode of Twin Peaks, and then the next day go, I don't remember really watching that. So we watched it all like twice over in one sitting because we kept on forgetting bits because we were usually quite drunk. And then I think we back-to-backed it like 3 times. So literally like finished it, and then the next night we're like, fuck it, should we start it again?
That's nice. I mean, it's mad that, you know, he hasn't actually had a theatrically released film out for like 20 years. It was Inland Empire. No, it was 2006.
2006 Inland Empire, yeah.
Yeah, so getting on for 20 years, and yet, you know, he was still so out there. I mean, obviously, we had what will now be the final season of Twin Peaks, and you had what did Jack do? Is that what it's called, the Netflix one?
Yeah, the short film, yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, he was about, and, you know, he was super engaged with like social media, but in a fun way with his weather reports. Like, but I haven't seen an outpouring of tributes and people talking about memories on social media for a filmmaker like this in a good long while. Like, it feels like only over the last day or so as like the talk started dying down somewhat.
Yeah, it's when we have the Academy Awards, it's going to be a rapturous one when Lynch turns up. He seems to have... I think very few people have had... I mean, it's 10 movies. It's not even that many movies. But I think there's very few people that have had that much of a profound impact on both cinema and TV.
No, quite. I almost wonder whether the In Memoriam section, they're going to have someone singing In Dreams or something.
I mean, yeah, it wouldn't surprise you, would it? But yeah, it's just, I mean, Eraserhead, The Elephant Man, Dune, Blue Velvet, Wild at Heart, Twin Peaks, Lost Highway, Straight Story, Mulholland Drive, Inland Empire. Dune is the outlier there as being, yeah, that's probably the one where you'd say, yeah, that one's a little bit, that's maybe the dud. But I still enjoy watching Dune.
I mean, and Dune has got one of my personal favourite scores of all time. I fucking love the Toto score to Dune.
Yeah, it's when that is your Bunny as a podcast dud, fucking hell. I mean, I get it. You could make a conceived argument that Inland Empire is as much an experiment as it is a film, but I still remember going to see that at City Screen, and it's a long film. Is Inland Empire? It's 3 hours long, and I think it started at about 9 o'clock, so it was after midnight.
Oh God!
When I came out, and it was really warm. I remember it was. I think it was maybe, I don't know, it was either, I went to see it in like September or something like that.
I was thinking September.
But it was really warm, and so I was in like a pair of shorts and a t-shirt. But being like a fucking huge like fucking Lynch nerd, I was in a Blue Velvet t-shirt. And I remember walking out of it at about, it must be about 12:15, and I was a little bit confused and a little bit dazed at what the fuck I'd just witnessed. And where the City Screen is in York is, when you walk out of it, you've got to walk down there. It's not like a passageway, but it's in like a courtyard, and you've got to walk out of this courtyard. And it only takes like, it's not very far. It's, you know, you could underarm throw a tennis ball to the end of the courtyard. But the other bits that are within that courtyard are a vodka revs and a picture and piano. And it was a Saturday night, and it was red hot. And so walking out there, just to all these fucking like drunk people, the sort of people that go to a vodka revs and a picture and piano, and me walking out in a pair of shorts and a Blue Velvet t-shirt, just looking really confused and just kind of scratching my head and going, I don't know what the fuck was going on. And I remember some guy coming up to me and just going, Are you Chris? And he's going, maybe, mate, I don't fucking know.
I will be if you want me to be, big boy.
I just went, looking for Chris? Do you know Chris? It's like, I know a lot of Chris's, mate. And just walked up to this guy just shouting, Chris, is that Chris? I'm just going, I don't know if that just happened or not.
That's what these films will do to you, though. You know.
Yep.
I tried to watch my HD copy of Mulholland Drive on iTunes last week, but it looked like shit.
It does look like shit.
And there's a four. Sorry, I know we're talking about David Lynch, but the fact that I would have to buy a new version of Mulholland Drive on iTunes to get the 4K version. Fuck you.
Hang on a minute. They've got a bit sneaky doing that recently, haven't they?
Yep.
Yeah, because when they first announced it was 4K, almost all of them just upgraded, didn't they?
Yep.
And now, it seems to be that they either yours doesn't get upgraded or it gets deleted, and if you want it again, you've got to rebuy it. It's a bit...
they take that version out of circulation and then put up a new version because it was like Mulholland Drive new 4K restoration. So it's like they're almost like trying to explain it away of, well, it's a different version, it's a different restoration, it's not just the HD version, it's not just this master in 4K.
Yeah. It's like, fuck off, mate.
Sneaky. It's like, and there's a few of them. My copy of Elf is like that as well. But the argument there is because it was when New Line was still New Line before they got subsumed back into Warner Brothers. Because you may have noticed, absolute inside baseball for UK distribution. New Line films used to be distributed by Entertainment in Video. Mm-hmm. When it got subsumed back into Warner Brothers took over it. So I've got the old HD version of Elf, which is the Entertainment in Video version, but Warner's have got their own version of it, which is the one that they booted up to 4K. So if I want to watch Elf, I have to watch this version. Honestly, HD content on Apple TV looks horrendous.
Well, I remember when it upgraded, my copy of Taxi Driver upgraded. Now, my copy of Taxi Driver isn't there, but if I go into store, Taxi Driver, I can buy it in 4K.
So they literally have booted that version off completely?
Yep.
Boo.
Yeah. But I was going to buy Mulholland Drive on 4K the other day, and I went on and was going to buy it. It was $21.99 on Amazon, and I was going to buy it, and I thought, well, no, 'cause I need to buy something else. I was tired and I thought, fuck it, I'll order it in the morning. When I went on the next day, sold out, can't get it till like the end of January now. I was like, fucking hell. So I might actually venture into a HMV and buy it there.
Nice. Yeah. No, but I mean, back to Lynch. He dude left a mark, didn't he?
Yep.
And it's going to be felt for a good long while, and it sucks that he's gone.
Yeah. There's a little bit of me that goes... There was a part that went, do you know what? I hope there's like something he's made that comes out. And then the other part of me went, and also, I hope there isn't.
It would be weird because, like, obviously it wouldn't have been sanctioned by him. And
no.
Yeah, you don't want any of that for Lynch.
And Netflix coming out and going, what we were discussing with him to make was really interesting. It would have been really good. It's like, you do realise that he said that you turned it down. Like, that's out there.
That was some weird, what are you trying to get out of this, Ted Sarandos?
Yeah.
Like, Absolutely not.
You know, some of the people you've given shit money to, and you wouldn't give it to Lynch. Don't try and pretend now. Right, trailers. What have you caught?
What have I caught? Sorry, I was just looking at the Wikipedia page for Lauren Dern. I saw that Jurassic World Dominion was 2022. It was like, that film's already nearly 3 years old.
It both feels like it shouldn't be 3 years old, but it also feels like it was 10 years ago.
Yes, yeah. No, God, I hate that. Right, so, trailers. There have been some. Mm-hmm. I'm going to tell you about them in a minute. I am. Where the fuck is... Where's Rotten Tomatoes trailers gone? There it is. Until Dawn.
Yeah.
So Until Dawn, if you didn't know, is based on a PlayStation game from about 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. And was essentially kind of like, not quite a choose-your-own-adventure kind of thing, but it was like, you could end the game with everybody surviving or nobody surviving, and the decisions you made had an effect. Like, there'd be what are called quick time events, where it's like, press X quickly, and like press circle quickly, in order for like characters to live and things like that. And spoiler alert for the game, turns out it's Wendigo. There you go. Now this, it's some weird kind of Happy Death Day thing.
Yeah, it's almost like an idea is like a game. Every time you die, the next playthrough will be a little bit different.
Yeah, and it like, you know, it's like, okay, well, you make the right choice this time round, you get to live for a bit longer or something like that. You know, which is kind of, you know, the gameplay mechanic. It's the first time I think I've seen a gameplay mechanic be the thing that is being adapted rather than like the story.
Yeah, it's a weird idea. I mean, it looks like a decent enough. It looks like a decent enough kind of horror movie, but also I'm a little bit like. It also looks a little bit generic.
It does. But it's David F. Sandberg coming back to horror after the Shazam films.
Yeah.
So that's good. You know, Lights Out was decent. Annabelle Creation, low-key banger.
Yeah, Creation was a low-key banger, wasn't it? Creation was the really good one, wasn't it?
Yeah. The one set in the kind of like the orphanage in the kind of the countryside. And yeah, really, really good ending as well. It actually ties it into the first Annabelle quite cleverly as well. So, you know, it's yeah, I don't know. I don't think this is going to be a banger, but if it's Sandberg kind of like breathing out after the Shazam debacle that was the second one,
yeah,
you know, maybe I'm here for it. Maybe he's got some pent up aggression he wants to take out with some nasty deaths,
which I think it looks like there might be in this, which I'm kind of all right with. Yeah,
yeah,
just kind of like going, fuck it. This feels nice. This feels like a warm bath for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, speaking of Happy Death Day, which I did earlier on, trailer for Drop.
Yep.
Which is directed by I believe Christopher Landon, but not written by this time round.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. I mean, it's basically kind of Carry On, but in a restaurant, and she has to kill a guy instead of let a piece of luggage through.
Yeah.
But then the last shot,
yeah,
is like, what the hell happens to make that happen?
Yeah, it's there's a journey that's going to happen there, isn't there?
Yeah.
And I'm kind of looking forward to the journey.
Yeah, look, high concept, probably 85 minutes. Why not?
Yeah, that's it. It does look like it's going to be. I mean, has it got a Isn't got a runtime yet, but yeah, like it's high concept. I'm like you say, I'm the same. I'm kind of up for that. Let's go.
Yeah, there's not going to be that much gas in the tank for it to be longer than an hour and a half, surely.
No, I can't see it.
So, I thought this one was interesting. Opus. Did you see this?
I did. Yeah. What did you think? I saw all the character trait posters for it first, then was like, let's give it a go.
Yeah, look, I mean, if it's the menu, but for music...
Yeah. Which it kind of looks a little bit like that's kind of what it's going for.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that we get some original songs performed by John Malkovich.
That would be fucking lovely, wouldn't it?
Wouldn't it, though? I think it looks all right. It's a good trailer.
Yeah, it's a good trailer. Original music is by Nile Rodgers and The Dream.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, the film will feature original music written by Nile Rodgers and The Dream.
And performed by John Malkovich. That's all I need.
Yeah, it fucking better be.
I'm pretty up for that.
Yep, fuck it, let's go.
Yeah. Okay. Oh no, we talked about Alto Nights last week, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
Yeah. Red Band for the Monkey
looks gnarly as fuck.
made me rewatch Longlegs, and I'll talk about that later.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah.
Right.
I just like if it's Osgood Perkins leaning into comedy and leaning into some black absurdist comedy stuff, I think that's a vibe I can get on board with.
Yeah, I'm kind of all right with that. It's yeah. I was not the biggest fan of Longlegs, but I must admit that trailer, the Red Band trailer for the Monkey, made me go, that looks fucking just horrible, and I'm kind of here for it.
Yeah, it looks like it's gonna want you to laugh at the absurd nature of it.
Yeah, which
that's if the film itself is Perkins trying to kind of do what he was trying to do with Longlegs, maybe not so much.
Yeah, I just want over the top stupidness.
Do you know what? I'll just talk about Longlegs quickly now.
Go
on. Basically, I think the first hour or so is great, and then Nicolas Cage shows up.
And it's just it's too cagey.
No, it's super, super moody, and like the sense of dread about it is fantastic. And even that first scene that Cage is on screen, apart from like the beginning where you get like the flash of him, but like that first scene where he's in the shop,
yeah,
and it's like does the cuckoo thing. I'm kind of okay with that. And then as soon as he's in the car and he starts screaming, no, absolutely not. And then I think the film disappears up its own arse because it thinks he's creepy, or you are terrified of him. Like there's a scene just before Micah Monroe goes in to interrogate him. There's a scene where they're kind of like briefing all the agents, and there is a shot of him paused on a TV in there where it's really centrally framed, and it's Perkins going like, look how creepy that is, look how disturbing that is.
Yeah.
It's Nicolas Cage with a shitload of prosthetics on.
That's it. If it was just Nicolas Cage with white hair, and just real pale makeup on, I think that'd have been creepier. But the fact that you know that's Nicolas Cage underneath all those prosthetics makes you feel a little bit like, I think Nicolas Cage could do creepy without all that shit.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I absolutely agree with you there, man. And like the kind of the ending, the climax where, you know, it turns out that her mum was the kind of like the assistant all along, and now it's the other FBI agent's daughter's birthday party, and you know, again, there's some well acted stuff in there because it's you kind of see the mum and dad kind of like succumbing to the spell, like, and there's like the Blair Underwood says something about cutting the cake, and the wife makes this kind of like yelp noise, but she can't do anything about it because she's under the spell. Like, that's well done. That's the thing. There's these bits in that film and a lot of like the first half which really I do actually think work, and then it, like, I think Cage completely capsizes the fucking thing.
Yeah,
and then Alicia Witt as well. It's like her performance is so something's not right with her from the start, that when it's revealed that she's the accomplice, it's a bit like,
yeah,
well, that explains that then, doesn't it? Fair enough.
Also, when you're watching it going, why is Alicia Witt in this?
Well, yeah, there's
that element of, I know you shouldn't think like that, but there is that element of just film knowledge that is kind of there.
Yeah, what's her from Urban Legend doing in this?
Yep.
Yeah, but you know,
was it better second time round?
I rated it a 2 out of 5 on Letterboxd first time round, and I went to this time around as well. I think maybe I'd push it to a 2.5. Maybe I would actually go touching cloth with it, because Perkins knows how to conjure a sense of dread.
Yeah.
He does. And, you know, Micah Monroe, I like how kind of locked down she is. I think she does quite well there. But yeah, it's just the Cage of it all. And then the kind of the reveal, like the whole stuff with like the ball in the doll's head, and there's the scene where it's being analysed, and then like the guy analysing it's like, I keep on thinking I'm hearing my ex-wife's voice. You know, and it's just like, what? Let's just the whole actually going down the, yes, this is actually Satan is real kind of stuff. It just clangs against Longlegs looking like a, you know, I'm that I think you should leave meme of like that. I've got too much shit on my face.
Yeah.
Do you know the thing I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that.
Yeah, it's actually, yeah, that's pretty accurate, to be fair.
So yeah, but going back to the monkey, if the casting is, or the performance is not quite as what the shit, and he's leading into absurdism, and you know, there's that shot of like the person, is it like a person like jogging and they're on fire or something?
Yeah.
Like, cool. What's that about?
Yeah. And that's it. It's I'm up for it in the sense that I just want 90 minutes of just kind of like silliness, but like not stupid silly. Just a lot of like silly kills.
Yeah, totally. And then the only other one I've got is the new trailer for Mickey 17 that came out today.
Ooh, I haven't seen this. Was it any good?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's not going to make any money, but who cares? It's Bong Joon-ho doing his Bong Joon-ho thing. It feels absolutely with a place for Snowpiercer and Okja. And I hope the Robert Pattinson of it all gets people in to check it out. Looks fun.
Yeah. That's what I'm looking for, is just a good Bong Joon-ho black comedy.
Yeah, totally. And they're going to give it an IMAX release. I'll go see it in IMAX, no problem. It looks like it's going to look great. So, yeah, ace.
Yep.
I think that's it for me, actually. So go ahead.
Yeah, no, that I haven't got any more. No, let's review a fucking movie. So, A Complete Unknown is written by James Mangold and directed by James Mangold. Stars Timmy Boy, Edward Norton, Elle Fanning, Monica Barbaro, Boyd Holbrook is there, Scoot McNairy, Dan Fogler, and other people kind of turn up as well. What is it the story of? New York 1961, unknown 19-year-old named Bob Dylan arrives with his revolutionary talent. He forged relationships with musical icons of Greenwich Village on his meteoric rise, culminating in a performance that reverberates worldwide. Ian, what do you think to A Complete Unknown?
It's cool that Bob Dylan's so mysterious that no one knows why he did the things that he did, or how he came up with the ideas to write the songs that he did. And so, A Complete Unknown is such a perfect fucking title for this film. Don't get me wrong, I actually really enjoyed my time with it. But more from, like, pure vibes. Which is something. The whole film is just like, fucking hell, Bob Dylan was special, wasn't he?
Yeah.
What made him special? I don't know.
I'm not sure.
But I don't know. It's like, there's good filmmaking craft to it. I think it looks great. It's got really, really good performances, but I feel like in less assured hands from, like, everybody involved, this would be pretty bad.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of stunned just how good it actually is.
That's it. It's good because, A, the music's really good, which is kind of the point, because if the music was shit, you wouldn't be making the film. But the performances are all really good. I think the central performance of Timothée Chalamet, I think he's good. But I think that the supporting cast around him is really good. And I know that's not like even a criticism of Timothée Chalamet. I don't think he actually weirdly gets that much to do in what is a movie about Bob Dylan's life, and he's playing Bob Dylan.
Just like, hey, he can sing like Bob Dylan, can't he?
Yeah, and that's kind of it. And he gets the vibe of it. But your standout performances are Ed Norton, Monica Barbero, and for me, I thought Dan Fogler was fucking great as his manager.
Yes. Yeah, I'm glad you said that. I'm gonna add Elle Fanning, and we'll talk about them all. But just a bit of a Dan Fogler moment.
Yeah.
Fuck, he is doing some funny shit in this.
Yeah.
And the way that his character transitions from, like, uptight radio exec to... Is it, like, his basically last major scene is waking up in bed next to Bob Dylan and then having a go at Ed Norton for giving an inspiring speech.
Yeah, but then he has a fight with the festival promoter.
Right. That's right.
Which is just great. Like you say, he's gone from being I'm just all about the fucking money to I am all about the art.
Yeah. No, it's just like the wardrobe change and stuff like that. It's fucking great. Like, by the end, he's like wearing the glasses and he's trying to wear like tighter black shirts and stuff. It's like, you're fucking Dan Fogler. Yeah. But I respect it.
Yeah, he plays it really, really well. But yeah, I mean, just we'll come into more of it in a second. Did you see the comments that James Mangold made when he was asked, why didn't you cast Joaquin Phoenix again as Johnny Cash?
Oh, no, but tell me. I love James Mangold. What did he say?
He was asked, why didn't you cast Johnny Cash as what is it? And he said, the reason is we've had enough of this multi-universe interconnecting nonsense that I just thought, I don't want to be anywhere near that. So it was never... It got suggested and I straight away went, that's a stupid idea. No.
Good. And the thing is, to talk about Boyd Holbrook then, I would watch Walk the Line with him doing a fucking Christopher Plummer in All the Money in the World tomorrow.
The bit where he's drunk and trying to get the car out of those spaces and then just gives up.
Oh, I love that. And then he puts the Coke bottle on the bonnet and just like walks off and lets it drop.
So he just gets some biscuits out of the car. It's like, do you want a cookie? And he's like, no, I'm all right. He's like, knock him dead.
Knock him dead, BD.
Yeah.
It's like... He's so good. Like, he's only got a few scenes, but he's so good and he's so charismatic.
Yeah.
He was ace in this.
Yeah, he was, and you know he's very good at the Johnny Cash bit. It's him singing with the Johnny Cash bit, so it's really good. I think it's quite cool the fact that they've not trying to dig too much into Dylan, and just like you said, they've made this movie and gone, we're going to show you what's happened, but we're not going to explain the minutiae of it. Why? We're not really sure, because you can never believe what Dylan's saying, because he just says things. And he's not like trying to lie to appear more mysterious. He just makes shit up or just goes, yeah, no. Because he doesn't give a shit.
But he's so fucking charismatic that it's like the character of Sylvie. So I really, really, really liked Elle Fanning in this. Like the way she kind of unlocks like his creativity, but then when she kind of dumps him off screen, I thought I was at it for Elle Fanning then, and then she comes back later, and he's like, they've been broken up for like ages, and he's just like, do you want to come to where the fuck is it?
Newport.
Oh, it's on the tip of my brain. Newport. Yeah. Do you want to come to Newport with me? And then she's like umming and ahhing, and then she's just straight back into it again. I'm a bit like, what the fuck are you doing? And then it kind of, you know, a criticism of the film, they basically do the same scene twice where she's watching him with Joan Baez, and then kind of like, I can't deal with this.
Yeah, which is also a little bit like, there's a scene like that of, and the weird thing is, there's a scene like that from Walk the Line, where they're singing "It Ain't Me, Babe," and then here you've got that, and it is Mango must have done that on purpose.
Yeah. You would think so, but he is very charismatic, and she's so, I want this to work. You know, that scene where her last scene where she's getting on the boat. Like, that's one of the only scenes in this film where I feel like, but you are actually seeing Bobby Zimmerman, or whatever his name was. You know, like that is him. That feels authentic. But then it you know, it's kind of weird then that after that kind of ends, and then the whole like basically bringing down the Newport Folk Festival, and then it ends and he just drives off, and just the way that he just goes through these people's lives. It feels like the point of the film, but it's also a biopic about Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
But it almost feels like you could have Timmy Chalamet do this again in 10 years' time about a different part of his career.
Yeah.
Where he breezes into the lives of other people and then breezes out of them again.
Well, that's it. It's... You know, the fact is, it jumps over, like, quite a lot. You know, we get to, like, Highway 61 Revisited, and that's what it comes up to. I mean, that was his fifth album, I believe. But Dylan didn't have a number one album until Planet Waves, which was, like, 9 years later. And I think it was like his 11th album. So there's still so much more to cover. I'm glad that they didn't try and cover everything within this. I'm glad that they went, there's this amount we can cover. Because I think you can't cover somebody's career that is 60 years.
No, and like putting him in prosthetics and stuff like that. Yeah, no, absolutely. But I don't know, it would be fun if this turned into almost like a Richard Linklater-esque project.
Yeah.
Where you just dropped in on him, you know, every 10 years or something, you know, for however long James Mangold can make films, because he's no spring chicken himself. But Yeah, I like the other cast members. Ed Norton probably getting nominated for Best Supporting Actor tomorrow.
Probably, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that feels absolutely fine. Like, controls a couple of the scenes but never dominates, and feels, by the end of it, just kind of feels like a sad old man.
Yeah. Like there's a great moment where literally he's really against the idea of like, at the start of it, you've got where he's talking about, like, we need to, we're against all of these boundaries that are put up, and where, we're against the first scene you see him in it is in court talking about censorship. And then literally he's saying, you can't do this isn't folk music. And it's almost like he realises, like, when his wife literally fucking stops him from grabbing the axe, I've just, like, stops him, just kind of gives him a look, and he's like, oh shit, I've become everything I hate.
Yeah. He's doing a lot very quietly. But then Monica Barbaro, I would love it if she won Best Supporting Actress for this.
She's very good.
How the fact that is her own singing, and like, in interviews and stuff, she's like, I was never a singer before, I had singing lessons for this, and she nails Joan Baez.
Well, that's it. The thing is,
wow.
My kind of feeling on this with, like, people who discover their singers is, you don't know if you're a good singer until you try singing, and how many people actually try singing.
No, absolutely. I mean, as well as that, though, chemistry for days with Chalamet. Extraordinary, and you could just see how that presence would also fire something up in him, like Elle Fanning does, but it's kind of like two different things. It's the creative from Fanning, and it's more like the performance from her. I thought she was great, but I'd love it if Elle Fanning got a nomination as well. It's probably not going to happen because Jamie Lee Curtis apparently has to have a nomination for The Last Showgirl because she's Jamie Lee Curtis. And this is the thing. It's that the acting is so good in this film uniformly that it very well masks but what do you actually get out of it other than people love watching Bob Dylan perform, and Bob Dylan's really charismatic, even though a large part of that is just the fact that Timothée Chalamet is really charismatic. That's the thing about his performance, is a lot of it is his natural charisma. Like, in terms of an acting performance, I think he does better work in Dune Part 2.
Yeah.
From films in this Oscar season.
Yeah, there's like I said, but then again, the interesting thing is, I was watching some of, like, the interviews with Dylan from around this time, and there is a lot of similar mannerisms. And I'm not saying that Chalamet has, he's clearly an actor who does put effort in. He doesn't turn up and just wants to be Timothée Chalamet in. He does seem to see there's a craft there to it, for sure. But, like, there's a lot of, like, just general similar kind of mannerisms that they have within that are there, that obviously that just made it really good casting. Because when it first came out that it was Timothée Chalamet was playing Bob Dylan in the Mangold thing, I was a bit like, that feels a little bit like Who's So Hot Right Now. But then the more I sort of looked at it, I was like, actually, do you know what? Fair enough, go on then. He's a good actor as well.
I've got to say, though, so he's both hosting and is the musical guest on SNL this weekend.
Yeah.
And if he's basically going to do Bob Dylan, that's good. That's going to bother me. I don't know. And maybe that's separate from the film, and that's more because of, like, Oscar campaigning and stuff like that. But I've just got a feeling that we're going to talk about The Brutalist next week, and it's going to be like Adrian Brody is undeniable.
Yeah.
I've got a feeling that's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then the fact that Chalamet's getting an awful lot of heat for this, I'm worried in my mind it's going to bias me against this performance more. But right now I'm saying I think it's great work across the board, but literally Chalamet is probably the 5th most impressed I was out of the cast members.
Yeah.
And Dan Fogler may be fighting him for 5th.
I would say Dan Fogler does fight him for 5th for me. But, again, like I say, I think that Chalamet is very good in it.
But he's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Timothy Chalamet doesn't have a go at Pete Seeger for it being too early in the morning.
No, he doesn't.
Mangold, it's a wonderfully shot bit where, because he thinks it's Sylvia, and he just turns around and goes, "What are you doing here at this dawn?" He doesn't even say morning, he just says dawn. And you've got to think, that cannot have been in the script. That has to just be Dan Fogler thought that sounded funnier, and he's right.
And also, one minor point as well, and maybe this is based off of real footage, but it's fucking weird if so. When he kind of plays The Times Are A-Changin', and the audience are really into it, but the only bit they sing along with is The Times They Are A-Changin'. But that doesn't happen at concerts.
No, it doesn't. No, I mean, they were throwing shit at him.
No. Earlier,
Yeah.
Where it's kind of like it's the Newport Folk Festival, maybe like the year before.
Oh, that one there, yeah. No, they will have just been singing along to all of it.
Yeah, like it's like what? Why are they only singing along to that bit?
Yeah, that's always the struggle that you have when you're making music biopics, is how do you sell the audience element of it? Do you kind of go full blown, like try and make it like a real audience, or do you just not give a shit and do like what the Doors did and just have it so that the audience is there but doesn't really do anything?
Or just, I don't know, keep it low in the mix or something, you
Yeah.
know? But, I mean, yeah. But, hey, look, definitely not shit.
Definitely not shit.
I'd definitely be a bit like, what? If then, like, Mangold goes on to win Best Director or something like that. That will feel a bit...
I'm going to say it's definitely not shit. I think if it's not got the cast that it isn't about Bob Dylan, it doesn't get nominated. If it's the same film, it doesn't even get nominated for Academy Awards.
No, for sure. And, you know, so Oscar nominations are tomorrow as we record, and like basically 4 are locks. Who is it? It's Corbet for The Brutalist, Berger for Conclave. Fuck, my mind's gone blank. What other big films have there been? That's going to bother me. What were the Golden Globe noms? Best Director. That'll tell me.
It'll be Corbett for. Do you think what's the name's getting one for Substance?
Well, that was going to be my point. Fuck's sake. Sorry, it's really annoying. I'm getting there. Sean Baker for Honora, of course. Jacques Audiard for Amelia Perez.
Yes.
Those are like the 4 locks. Fucking Amelia Perez. Okay. But then it's basically either Coralie Faja for The Substance or James Mangold for A Complete Unknown.
I think you could see Coralie Faja getting it.
I hope so.
Yeah, I agree, yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I put Mangold in there instead of Audiard. In all honesty. maybe instead of Burger, even though I liked Conclave.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, it would be really annoying if Mangold got a nom for this and The Substance didn't at this point.
It's a good film, but it's a good film. I think it should be fine that we're allowed to have good films.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's better than Walk the Line. I'll say that as well. I like Walk the Line. I do think this is better.
I'll probably say they're just about the same, to be honest with me.
Fair enough.
What's it? Our audience poll, 67% definitely not shit and 33% touching cloth.
Okay, yeah, it's fair.
Yeah, right. Fuck it, let's just do another main review. Let's just fucking go for it. Let's fucking wolf some man. Wolfman, written and directed by Leigh Whanell. Stars everyone's favourite creepy guy, Christopher Abbott, Julie Garner, and Sam Yeager, I believe is the name of the daughter. Nope. That is Matilda Firth. Sam Yeager is the dad in it.
Oh, okay.
Right, let's see what IMDb says that the plot of Wolfman is. A family at a remote farmhouse is attacked by an unseen animal, but as the night stretches on, the father begins to transform it into something unrecognisable. Well, no, because you recognise it as a wolfman. And yeah, that's kind of not really what happens. So yeah, classic IMDb getting everything wrong there. Right, I prefaced this, I think, before we started recording, that there was something that bothered me about Wolfman very early on that made me go, ha. And I'm going to say it now.
Go on.
So, when you had Christopher Abbott, everyone's favourite isn't he creepy guy, and he's got his daughter there, my brain went, wait a minute, him and Julie Garner can't be playing partners, like husband and wife in it, and that's their kid. Because and I checked, there's only 8 years between them, right? But my brain, for some reason, would have been more comfortable with her being his teenage daughter than his wife. And I couldn't get that out of my head. I was going, that they don't make sense as a couple. They just do not make sense. Not only as a couple, but I don't believe that they're in any way, at any point, can their paths have crossed without it being creepy.
Yeah, no, I'm not entirely sure they could actually have sex with each other.
No.
I feel like some sort of magnetic force would stop it from happening.
Yeah. It's not right. It's not right, man. So Wolfman.
Yeah, what? Just an absolute wet fart of a film. Like, Leigh Whanell wrote this with his wife. And it feels like they went to a cabin for a boozy weekend and came out with the first draft and went, fuck it, that'll do.
Yep.
I cannot believe that this is the same guy who did The Invisible Man.
Yeah, because even like the like little directorial flourishes were, hey, what if we turn the camera on its side? Right.
That bit where, it's like, and it kind of does it at an angle and then fully falls over.
Yeah.
Like, okay, yeah, you did that in Upgrade, mate.
Yeah.
The thing that they do multiple times where it's swinging, the camera's circling around and it's like doing the different, like how the Wolfman's seeing things and how they're, and hearing things and how they are. It's like, that worked the first time round when it was like, oh shit, yeah, he can't understand them at all.
Yeah.
Like, fair enough, that's quite upsetting. And then it does it like 3 more times. Like, the film had a $25 million budget, so not a massively budgeted film, but it feels like they probably spent quite a bit of that on that car crash sequence and didn't and Ryan Gosling was a producer and was going to star, so he probably got a bit of pay out of it. But I imagine Ryan Gosling took one look at that script and went, no.
Well, that was...
he was originally attached and then dropped out.
Well, that was with Derry Cianfrance directing.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So I think that was before script.
This felt like Whanell just going like, yeah, all right, I'll do this, sure. What kind of trauma stuff can I bring into this? Like just the most lazy example of trauma where it's this stuff happened and then 15 years later he's just not talking to his dad anymore. Why? Who knows? His dad's got a bit of a militaristic thing at the start about, like, we've got to be out by 0700 hours. So apparently that means he's abusive. Maybe. But it's not really said.
No.
But he's saying, like, oh, I don't want to be nasty to you, kiddo.
That's not me.
And that's not me. It's like, okay, so was your dad? Because there's not that much evidence of it. Not every military dad's abusive.
No. And he snaps at you a little bit in the opening bit before the credits, but it's not that bad. He just has a bit of a fucking keep up and pay attention, mate.
He had a point as well.
Yeah.
Just to say as well, like the way that you got that opening prologue, and it's in that deer hide, and then nothing happens, and it's just 15 years later. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, but then, like, literally, as soon as, like, you see him starting to change, you go, so he's going to fight his dad, but they're both going to be wolves. All right. That's going to happen at some point, then.
And then that fight's, like, 30 seconds long.
Yeah. I mean, listen, it sounds like we're skirting over it. We're not. It's over 100 minutes long, and genuinely it could be 80 minutes long and be the same movie.
It's so minimum viable product.
Yeah, it's a piece of... It's just bad.
Like, they're in danger from the dad being the Wolfman, like, maybe twice. You've got that one sequence of tension where they're up on top of that greenhouse thing, and then like the fabric starts ripping.
Yeah.
It's got one or two moments with like the transformation stuff, which is kind of gnarly, and the thing is, it's not that exciting, it's not scary, but it is depressing. So you've got none of the thrills, but all of the that's quite sad.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the message of it? Like,
there isn't one.
Men who have apparently traumatic childhoods are always going to then pass that on to their families. Is that the message?
I think it's that
it's not exactly believe women.
That men who have trauma will have absolutely zero chemistry with people they meet. Like you said,
apart from his kid, I thought his relationship with the kid was really, really good, but it was completely taken away by the fact that he has got no chemistry with Julia Garner whatsoever. And Julia Garner has just got an air of everything about this viscerally stinks to me throughout her entire performance.
If you'd have said to me before I started watching this movie, out of these two actors... Sorry, my cat's been a dickhead. Out of these two actors, which one... And they're both playing like parents of a child. Which one do you think will look like they've never met a child before? I would have gone, Chris Abbott has never met a child. Even when he was a child, Chris Abbott did not meet a child. Chris Abbott was formed as a creepy 27-year-old. Now, after watching that movie, I'm like, I bet Chris Abbott's a fucking mint uncle to somebody.
Yeah.
I bet he takes those fucking kids on some fucking great days out. I bet Julie Garner has the same visceral reaction to children that I have, which is to go, oh, what's that? Why is it near me? She
looks like she's the Wicked Witch as well.
Yeah.
She looks like Tilda Swinton in the fucking Narnia film.
She fucking does, doesn't she? A little bit. I like Julie Garner. She's got a good energy. In this, she doesn't. She looks like she hates her husband, doesn't like a kid. Literally at one point, there's actually a line of dialogue where she's like, "I don't know if I can do that anymore." And he's like, "What? I'm sure we can have a bit of time together." And she went, "No, be a mum." It's like, fucking hell.
Oh my! Like the end of this film where it's, yeah, all right, she's done like the minimum viable thing to save her kid.
Yeah.
But now the kid has lost her dad, who
Yeah.
she had a great relationship with, and now her mum's probably going to resent her because she wants to have a career.
Yeah.
And it feels like the sequel to this would like just be Wolfman 2. No, I want to be a Wolfman to get out of this relationship with my kid.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
a really, really bad film.
Yeah, it really is. It fails on so many levels.
But I mean, the thing is, it's basically manipulative, but the idea of him not being able to talk to his kid, I thought the whole kind of like, what am I thinking thing,
Yeah.
What that actually led to in the end. Yeah, all right, fair enough. Like that got me.
Yeah, I was a little bit like when the kid started saying it, I was a bit like, oh come on, and then by the end of it, I was like, all right, fair enough, that worked actually, well played.
And it's because he's a sympathetic Wolfman. Like it's horrible that it's happening.
He's not enjoying it.
But this is the thing. So you've got this film that isn't scary. It's not fun. And it's actually really fucking sad.
Yeah, that's it. He's not a wolfman that becomes a wolfman and he's like, this is fucking mint. I am going to go and chase some fucking people. This is fucking great. He's like, this is shit.
It's not Jack Nicholson in Wolf.
Wolf, no. Where
it's not even the Wolfman, where at least you get the batshitness of Benicio del Toro versus Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah. No, it's just sad Wolfman.
And now, Robert Eggers is going to have another crack at it for Universal in less than 2 years' time.
But you know that he's going to make a fucking really good casting choice for playing the Wolfman.
And it's going to rule.
Yeah.
Let Christopher Abbott have another crack at it. I'm not that bothered about that. That's the thing. I think Christopher Abbott and the kid come out of this pretty unscathed. Julia Garner... Like, I haven't seen her in all that much, and I don't care to.
No, it's a weird one. Apparently she's married to me.
No. I mean...
No, she literally is married to a guy called Mark Foster.
Oh, nice. No, that's funny. I mean, the idea that she was going to be Madonna in that Madonna film that Madonna was going to direct...
Yeah.
That actually feels perfect.
Yep.
That genuinely feels like the role she was born to play. But not in this. But look, I think Leigh Whanell shit this one out.
Yeah.
Like, because he owed Universal a favour, maybe.
It does feel like a favour one, doesn't it?
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't feel like the heart was in it at all in this.
No, because Leigh Whanell is is a good director, and B is a good writer of horror.
Yeah, and The Invisible Man was very much a film of the year 2000, but also was tense as fuck. Like that scene where Elizabeth Moss is having dinner with her sister, I think it is, and then you see the knife by the sister, and like honestly, one of the most in recent memory most upsetting images in film for me, where it's like, oh god, she's fucked. Both of them are, and then the ending's ace as well, where and that's the thing. The Invisible Man's a great film. This just feels like some sort of bizarre contractual obligation. And Universal had it dated for January for a while, and like January horror can do very well. But the fact that they put this out only like 2 weeks in the UK, 3 weeks in the US, out after Nosferatu, it really just feels like they put this out to die, and the marketing would say that as well.
Yeah, they shit it out.
Yeah, they really did. But you know, Christopher Abbott Innocent, I'll say, I think he does all right with this. I think he pulls off the this is really sadness of it pretty well.
Yeah, he does what he's supposed to do. I just don't get what he's supposed to do. Oh no, why he's supposed to do that.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, shit. Just really a sad, not scary time at the cinema for a Blumhouse horror film. Well done, everyone.
Yeah. Our audience poll was shit 100%.
Yeah, there you go.
What have you been watching, Ian?
Got a few things. So, kind of glad Bex isn't here. I gave Furiosa another go.
Oh, yeah.
So first off, the 4K is a transfer so digitally pristine that Lottie came into the room while I was watching it and said, "Is that a cut scene from a video game?" And I was like, "No, it's a film." And she was like, "It looks weird. It looks plastic." Which
I can believe that would.
Yeah, it's a really, really sharp, like, just digital film-looking transfer, which, you know, Fury Road, it's all authentic. It was all practical stuff. Furiosa, much less of that. And, yeah, look, I think Furiosa is fine. I think it's just so funny that the credit sequence is interspersed with bits from a better film.
Isn't it? It's from what's
from
it?
Fury Road.
Fury Road.
You know, I just think that's really funny. You know, credit to Miller for like really building on kind of like the lore of the Mad Max world. But it's not Fury Road. Anya Taylor-Joy is ill-served by a character whose, you know, motivation is actually quite dumb at the end, quite frankly. Her last scene with Chris Hemsworth, where she's got him, and she's like, "I want my family back. I want my childhood back." Like, and she's saying to it as if she's been directed to say it like it's something that could actually happen. It's like she's actually asking Dementus for that. And it's just like, what? It's really, really odd. You've got Praetorian Jack just looking and acting like Mad Max, or like a nice version of Mad Max. And that look is just straight up distracting. And yeah, it's a film which is very, very high on its own supply. It is Miller going, man, people really, really love this world. When what people really, really love about Fury Road is the action. That I don't think they're necessarily super enamored with the idea of the green place.
I think it, for me, because I enjoyed Furiosa, but
it's a good film. Don't get me wrong, it's a good film. It's just, as the follow-up to Fury Road, my God, is it a step down?
That's it. And I think that's the issue, is we didn't get a sequel to Fury Road. We didn't get a second Tom Hardy Mad Max film. But we did get a Mad Max film that doesn't have Mad Max in it. It just feels a little bit, I don't know, like, I get why they've made it, because it seems like a fun story to tell, but having a Mad Max movie that doesn't have Mad Max in it just feels a little bit wrong.
Her story's not that interesting.
No, and it was told in Fury Road.
Yeah. or enough of it was told.
Yeah.
You know, she got kidnapped from the Green Place, and then she becomes what's his name's Immortan Joe's driver, so she can get revenge on the guy who kidnapped her.
Yeah.
Great, well done, everyone. I don't know. And I don't think Anya Taylor-Joy's great. So in this, so there we are. Okay, watched Music by John Williams, which is a documentary on Disney Plus about John Williams, and it's an hour and a half of John Williams is great, isn't he? I'll tell you what though, he's shit at golf. His short game's rubbish.
I always wanted to know that.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah. It's a really, really nice tribute to John Williams. You know, that's about it. It's not that much insight. But there you go. Didn't know his son was the lead singer from Toto.
Yeah.
I did learn that. But yeah, I don't know. His music's really, really good, isn't it? You know, they're like kind of like the variety of music that he's done, and it's kind of like a warm hug of a documentary.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay, and then the last one before the one that I know we both watched, the new Netflix Jamie Foxx Cameron Diaz film, Back in Action.
This?
Yes.
Is it any good?
It's all right.
Is it?
Yeah, I had a decent enough Saturday morning watching this. Primarily because Cameron Diaz is a good, funny, goofy comic actress.
Yes, she is.
She's actually got decent enough chemistry with Jamie Foxx. Basically, they're spies, they fall in love, they fake their deaths, they're then rediscovered, and Kyle Chandler recruits them to fight, because Jamie Foxx has hidden a MacGuffin somewhere that they need. And then Andrew Scott is cashing in a lovely Netflix paycheck as is he a bad guy, is he not, guy chasing them. It's content, but it's content with movie star leads. So because they are movie stars and because they are giving it a go, it works. That's kind of all there is to it. My word, I'm glad we didn't do this as a main review because there would be nothing. But yeah, no, I mean, I enjoyed it. It's goofy, little long, but such is life. And yeah, past the time absolutely fine. I've really got nothing else to say.
And Seth Gordon's a decent enough filmmaker, to be honest.
Yeah, and yeah, he's fine. And by the end, they're hinting at a sequel, which is a bit like, that's fucking confident of you. I'm not sure how up for a sequel I would be, but hey, Cameron Diaz is a good bit involving her having two sets of binoculars in a car because she bought a second pair off Amazon, and I enjoyed her talking about that. That there we are. Back in Action. There we are. That was worth 2 hours of my time to talk about it for 2 minutes. Last one that you also watched as well, so it's kind of like a handover discussion, not full review, is The Order, the Justin Kurzel directed recent film starring Jude Law and Nicholas Hoult, which is feels like it could be pretty fucking relevant.
Yeah.
Except the FBI would probably be on the Nazi side.
Yeah. Yeah. They probably would. But yeah, it's a proper good old school grown up filmmaking.
Yep.
I turned around to Bex after we'd watched it and said, I reckon that when Kurzel was like doing the pitch to it. He was sort of going. The producers were looking at him, going, "All right, yeah, right. So we're going to shoot this. You're going to do all this for it." You're going, "We're going to shoot it locations outside," and they all looked at him and went, "You're going to do what?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm going
to do that?
I'm going to shoot outside." And they're gone, "Why? We've got all these screens. I'm just going to shoot outside because I think it'll look better." And then I think they watched it afterwards and went, "This might catch on, this fucking shooting shit outside." What?
Yeah.
I didn't know you could do this. Have you seen it? Everyone, get in the fucking room. Look how good this looks. Like, fucking hell, yeah. Who rendered all those mountains? All that? That's fucking outside, that is. They actually went somewhere. That's a real stream. Fucking wild. It looks fucking great.
Yeah, it does.
Because they've gone, do you know what adds loads of production value to things? Fucking being outside. If you would have, if you didn't know any of the faces in it, didn't know it was fucking Jude Law and Nicholas Hoult and Ty Sheridan and a woman whose name doesn't exist, then you could have just released this on Arrow as a 4K and said it was made in 1975, and I don't think people would have disagreed with you.
Yeah. Just super kind of old-fashioned thriller filmmaking. Good chunky character bits without banging you over the head with stuff.
Yeah. There's no ambiguity to it either. It's not. There's only one moment where it basically goes, they're fucking Nazis. They're fucking Nazis. And it doesn't bang you over the head with it. It's just when you've got Ty Sheridan and Jude Law driving into that complex, and they drive past one of the barns, and then all of a sudden there's just a big swastika on the other one. Yeah. But it doesn't show you it from that angle. It literally is the background, and it's just there going, it's there. We know you've seen it. We don't need to point it out to you. It's there. And that kind of... It just works really well. Jude Law is doing something that he should just be doing, which is just being really fucking good in things. There was a wobble bit I think he had for a few years, and then almost like he made Don Hemingway got used to his receding hairline and went, "This is fucking great. This is great. Just being able to bang around and just be kind of like charming and roguish, or this guy." The scene where he interrogates that guy, and he gets into the cell with him, and you're watching it going, "Oh, he's gonna do summer. He's gonna do summer," because Journey Smollett's character almost goes, "Oh fuck, I've got to let him just get on with this," and he just sits next to him and just starts pushing into him, and he's just there going, "If you were that guy, you would be shitting yourself." But then when he has the nosebleed, and then you've got that bit, and he's there. He just almost just gives up trying to be threatening and basically just tells him as it is. And just goes, "Look, I'm going to fucking tell them you're a Mexican, and then they're going to fucking kill you." Without actually saying that. I'm just going, amazing what they're going to do when they find out you're a fucking Mexican.
Yeah. It's... Law is such a badass in this.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that he can't seem to actually aim a gun for shit. He's got the same quality as aim as the little kid they're teaching. Yeah. But no, he's ace. And, I will say, I thought, what happens with Ty Sheridan's character, I won't spoiler it, but it's that was going to happen.
Yep.
But... it was weird to me that this basically barely got a release. It feels like it should have been bigger.
Yeah.
Nicholas Holt's great as well.
Yeah, he's so good. I mean, we've said it a few times recently about Nicholas Hoult, that he might quietly be one of the best actors of his generation that nobody fucking talks about as being the best actor, one of the best actors of his generation. He's so good. When he gets up and does that speech, you watch it going, everything you are saying is fucking horrible, but I can see why idiots get behind you.
I mean, he absolutely emasculates the leader of the church there. Like it just like, yeah, you would see why that people would start following him.
Yeah, but also as well, you've got the bit of him just being, he's clearly very smart and he's very good at this planning bit. Like the sheer balls. I mean, and these guys did these things. It's based around a true story. You know, it's the sheer. It's. I did like a bit of a read up about it afterwards just to find out how much of it was true, and it's the guy that Jude Law's based on. I read an interview with him, and he basically said nobody had ever robbed one of these armoured trucks, and it's because nobody had ever just tried to, because everyone just thought it would be too difficult. You know, he said, you know, when the mob were robbing these trucks, they weren't. They were paying the guys off inside them to stop and pretend they'd been robbed. There was no actual real robbing, but these guys they did. You know, it didn't go very well, but they fucking managed it. They robbed it. You know, these guys. You said in this interview, these guys had nearly $6 million by the end of it.
It
looks fucking great. The performances are really, really good, and it just you watch it going. It just feels so like, yeah. There is this insidious underbelly in the US that really latches onto white supremacism, and it's. I think it's something that is probably a much bigger problem than any of us actually ever realise. You know, and fucking hell. Well, we'll see in the next 4 years how big a problem it just ends up becoming. But it's just a really good, proper, grown-up filmmaking. Like, Bex really enjoyed it. After she was like, I feel like now for the next few weeks, I just want to watch things like that. Just really, really good, proper grown-up filmmaking. You know, there isn't. It's a modern film, but it isn't trying to hammer home the message. It's just telling this story as it is.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, really. We haven't spoiled it too much there. It's based on real things, but I don't think everyone knows this story. I don't think many people will know this story. But yeah, it's a very solid recommend.
For sure.
Right. So moving on from that, we watched last night One False Move, the Carl Franklin movie that was written and starring Billy Bob Thornton. Also has Bill Paxton in it, and a few other people of things that you'll notice. Have you ever seen One False Move?
Years ago.
Yeah, it's one of those ones that's developed kind of like a cult following. Has been like a decent, a very good like 90s crime movie. Often gets pitched in that neo-noir bit. It's not a neo-noir. You know, there was a lot of good neo-noirs in like the early 90s. This isn't one of them. It's just a good crime movie. So you've got a set of murders that happen that are committed by Billy Bob Thornton, Michael Beach, and Cynthia Williams. And then they're effectively going, it seems like, from the evidence that they're heading to this place called Star City, that Bill Paxton is essentially like the sheriff of. And so he's like this whirlwind character. That's actual nickname is Hurricane. And the FBI guys actually ask him at one point and go, "Why do they call you Hurricane?" And he's like, "Don't know. Somebody just started calling me it, and it's just stuck since then." And you never get an explanation for why he's called Hurricane, but you can tell from his personality that that's why, and it's because he comes in everywhere like a fucking hurricane. He's just eminently likable, and it's the sort of character that Bill Paxton can play really, really well. But then you get like it has a switch towards like the end half an hour where you find out that the reason why he knows Lila, the girl of these three criminals, is because he had a relationship with her when she was 17 and he was in his 20s and already married. Really good, really solid 90s crime fare. Very much enjoyed it. A noughties crime film, which I think will go down as one of the most early noughties movies ever made, is Romeo Must Die, the Jet Li movie. I'm not going to talk too much about it because it's a bit crap. But yeah, I rewatched this. I've watched it years ago in like the DVD era. And always kind of quite enjoyed it. And I remember watching it around the time of a bunch of like Jet Li movies were coming out, as he kind of made the transition to doing English language movies. And so I think around this time you had The One and Kiss of the Dragon. And I think I got it confused with Kiss of the Dragon. Kiss of the Dragon is actually quite fun and decent. Romeo Must Die is not very good, really, but it is incredibly early noughties. There's like a bit in it where when he has like one of the first fights, you see him like break someone's arm, and the camera kind of zooms in and gives like an X-ray of the break happening, and you're like, "Oh, that's pretty fucking cool." And then it just randomly does it again later on, and then again later on, but with no like uniformity whatsoever. It just kind of does it sometimes, but doesn't most of the time. But you watch it going, yeah, Jet Li's really good at all this stuff. Fine. That's it. But it's got not a lot else. Right. Watched 2012 because I watch it at least once a year, and so me and Bex watched it the other day, and it's 2012. I spoke about it before. I really enjoy disaster movies, so fucking sue me. What else have we got? We watched Monster Squad.
Oh yeah.
On Monday morning when we were both off work, not feeling tip top. We watched Monster Squad. Monster Squad's great. You know, that Wolfman was better. And he got kicked in the nards.
Yes.
But I turned out to Bex like about halfway through and went, "This is written by Shane Black, you know." And she's like, "Now you've said that, yeah, I can see that. Just some of the bits in it are quite Shane Blacky." And yeah, you can do. But it's just really fun. This is the monster movies they should make.
Oh, God, I haven't seen that film in a good long time.
It's 80 minutes. It's 80 minutes, and it is well worth the 80 minutes.
Okay, nice.
This morning, because I was up at like 6 a.m, not able to sleep, and got sick of waking Becky up sneezing. So I watched Men at Work, the Emilio Estevez joint.
Solid.
With Charlie Sheen and Keith David, which is a story when they don't play brothers, which makes no sense, but they play trash men who want to open a surf shop, and and they are like not good trash men. Like they fuck around with with all like the bins and just throw them around and do stupid stuff. So they end up having Keith David, who is their boss's brother-in-law, go around with them to kind of observe them. But he's a Vietnam vet that has gone a little bit crazy. And so he goes even more crazy, and then they find a dead body in one of their trash cans, and it's linked to like a toxic waste dumping. And Dean Cameron plays a pizza man who has a pizza hat, and Keith David kidnaps him, and it's bonkers. This movie, it very much is. Like Emilio Estevez had made an Alex Cox movie in Repo Man and decided, yeah, I'm going to give that a go. That's what Men at Work is. I believe it's actually like the second movie he directed, I think. But this one, is just... It's what if I tried to make an Alex Cox movie, that is what Men at Work is. And it kind of works. It's fun. Nice. It's too long, but it's fun. Final film, but I do have a TV thing to talk about, which I know is rare for me. But final film. So we rewatched me and Bex on this track of just watching like good fucking grown-up movies. We watched the director's cut actually as well of Donnie Brasco.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, all 2 hours 40 minutes of it.
Who directed that?
Mike Newell.
That's right.
Yeah,
4 Weddings and a Funeral.
Yeah, right? It's wild that he went literally from 4 Weddings and a Funeral to An Awfully Big Adventure, which was the Alan Rickman and Hugh Grant one, to Donnie Brasco. It's bonkers. Do you know what? Donnie Brasco, even at 2 hours touching 40 minutes, is fucking great. Like it does. You do not you do not feel like you're watching a movie that is like beyond 2.5 hours long. It has such a great pacing to it, and Bex mentioned this as well. It does a really good job of... so Goodfellas does this to an extent of not glamorizing the lifestyle. So, Goodfellas, it doesn't seem like it's that great a lot of the time being a mobster. And this kind of amplifies that even more. None of them appear like they're doing good. Like, none of them appear like their lives are good. It feels like they're grinding through it. But have this romanticized idea about them being, like, wise guys. But in reality, nobody gives a shit. Like, nobody cares beyond them. And Pacino does this amazing performance as Lefty Ruggiero. Of just playing him as being... You can see why Joseph Pistone kind of likes him and he's drawn to him, but you can also see why he's able to infiltrate him so easily and so well, because the guy's just not that bright and he's kind of an idiot. But you also kind of like him, which is the point of these movies. Is you're supposed to kind of like these guys, but at no point do you watch it and go, God, that looks great. I can see why people are drawn to it. It just feels like none of them seem like they're having a good time, that it seems very much like a job to them. And occasionally they get to have a little bit of fun within it. But the rest of it is just like trying to come up with like scams where they can make money. But at the same time, you've got this this relationship in the background of Johnny Depp, of him just not able to have like a real relationship with his family, and Anne Heche's character playing his wife just having to basically just grind through being this person as he just gradually more and more is becoming more Donnie Brasco than Joseph Pistone, and that kind of is taking over, which is not like a new thing. That's been done quite a lot, and it's a trope that is used fairly often. But within this, you get him just kind of going, I know, but I can't fucking stop it. You know, I'm that more than I am this, and I've lost it. But he also feels responsible for Pacino's character. And I think that he doesn't feel responsible for it because he's formed like a really good kinship with him or anything like that. But it's because he's so easily used this guy that this guy would have ended up in this place anyway. But it's just, he feels like this is my fault that this guy's going to end up dying because of me. Because it is my fault, because I used this guy just because it was so easy to use them. But yeah, really, it's just a really good film.
Good stuff. That's a good evening as well.
Yeah, we had a really good time watching it. And we're like, yeah, that's, you know, 90s Johnny Depp, up until I think like The Astronaut's Wife, there's some fucking great stuff in there. So yes, I might even watch a few more of those Johnny Depp 90s era ones. TV, I've finally finished Bad Monkey.
Oh yeah, okay,
yeah. So I didn't want to watch. I wanted to watch this more like a TV show. So not watching it like 4 episodes at a time and getting rid of it in like 3 or 4 nights. I thought, no, I'm going to watch it over like a month. I'll watch like a couple of episodes a week, and that'll sit quite nicely with me for it. So do you know, have you watched any of this, or do you know anything about it?
No, not much.
So I won't go too much into it because I think people should like give it a go, or at least give the first episode a go, and if you're vibing with it, then that's pretty cool. But basically, Vince Vaughn plays Andrew Yancey, who is a detective who has been put on leave because he just gets a little bit too involved in his cases. And then you've got just rest of your cast are Rob Delaney. Meredith Hagner is there. Michelle Moynihan's in there. Jodie Turner-Smith. John Ortiz keeps turning up. He plays his ex-partner, who now just kind of keeps dropping in to kind of check on it and make sure he's all right. But in typical John Ortiz style, whenever he turns up, it's just like then it's instantly got better. I really enjoyed watching this. It's Vince Vaughn doing. I should have played Fletch at some point, so here I am basically playing Fletch, and it works really well. It's just him talking a lot and very quick. And it's the shit he can do in his sleep, but it's really fun. Meredith Hagner is really fucking good in this. Like, she just plays just somebody who you're like, I really want bad things to happen to you. And her only thing that she seems to get by on is that she's crazy and really hot. And that's about it. Poor Rob Delaney, who plays the guy that she's like manipulating, who is her partner in crime. He does not have a fun time in this, but he thinks he is. You've got Jodie Turner-Smith essentially playing like a voodoo princess called the Dragon Queen.
Nice.
Yep. That's just great. And Michelle Monaghan playing a character who has just gone batshit. She's like a trophy wife who just likes reading, but also has gone bonkers. It's a good time. I enjoyed it, and I'm very glad that it's got a second season. Oh, also Zach Braff turns up for like a couple of episodes at one point, and Scott Glenn plays Vince Vaughn's dad in it, and also does like the recap bits, but basically does them like, oh god, here's the recap, but you've probably just watched this because we stream things now, so you've just watched this, so you know what happens. You've just finished it and you've just clicked next episode. So here's this guy, and then the next one he'll go, all right, I'm actually going to do one for this because they've told me I have to. That's that guy from that. That's that guy from this. And that's that guy from this. So you know that this is going to happen. I'm sick of doing this bullshit. But it works. It's fun.
Good. Okay. No, I mean, fair play, man. You got through a season of TV.
Yeah.
That says something.
I did 10 episodes. Well, not even like 6. And they're an hour long.
No, that's great.
Right. We have a question, I think. I'm sure we do. I had a look earlier. I got it out quite late today, so apologies for that on my end, guys. Excuse me, I just need to turn the mic for a second so I can sneeze.
Yep.
Gross anybody out, but fuck it, I'm going to say it. Every time I sneeze at the moment, it literally is, I sneeze again, and then my body just goes and just slings a load of just basically, snot is the only words I use to describe it, out of my nose. So I have to kind of have a tissue to catch it.
Lovely.
It's grim. It's fucking horrible, my life at the moment. Right. Dylan asks, given JD Vance is now VP, do you feel vindicated on your thoughts on Hillbilly Elegy?
Yeah, apart from the fact that he's not VP, Musk is.
I think Trump's VP, Musk is president, and Vance is just kind of in a cupboard, but like just to turn a doorknob going, I think they've locked me in here.
I just think it's very funny that JD Vance did all that, and now like it. Yeah, no one thinks of him as vice president. No one's thinking of him at all. Yeah. It's great.
He is like that. What is it? That Mad Men meme of like the entire world. I don't think of you at all. Like
yeah.
In a few years' time, people will not. It will be a quiz question, a pub of who was what is it, and you'll be like, it was Musk, wasn't it? What? Who the fuck was it? And someone will go, oh, it was JD Vance. You're like, who? What was he in? Was he in something? Was he on a series before that? I mean, the film was an absolute piece of shit. I bet Ron Howard just sits there and goes, why did I do that?
I mean, yeah, it's... They propped up that guy.
Yep.
You know, but then again, I mean, like Mel Gibson and Sylvester Stallone are now
John
apparently
Voight.
Like Trump's and John Voight are Trump's Hollywood ambassadors. So,
but did you see that Mel Gibson found out about that while he was on like a morning TV show?
Yeah,
and had no idea.
Yeah,
and yeah, I can just yeah. I mean, never have heroes.
No, I mean that's I think that's probably but yeah, we were right about Hillbilly Elegy. It was a piece of shit.
It was God, yeah. I still maintain Glenn Close is not a very good actress. She's just not. She's
in Back in Action. She plays Cameron Diaz's English mum.
Yeah. Because everyone thinks she's English and she's not. Yeah. Yeah, that's my thing. I will never change my mind on this. Glenn Close is actually a bit shit, but in a similar way to Richard E. Grant, nobody kind of has realised that. And at least Richard E. Grant is charming and fun. Yeah. But yeah, no, Hillbilly is an absolute piece of shit. A steaming pile of it. And I don't. I mean, I don't think anyone would notice if that was just taken off Netflix. It might have been already.
Do it.
Netflix could just go, just delete that. Just delete that. Ian, what are we covering next week?
So it's finally review 2025 best of show. But we'll also be talking about The Brutalist.
Yep.
And Flight Risk. Speaking of Mel Gibson.
Yep. Oh, my God, Flight Risk. How long is Flight Risk?
I think it's less than an hour and a half. It's short.
It better be.
I'm pretty sure it is. It's what you want.
I showed Becky the trailer for Flight Risk because she'd not seen the trailer. And she went, so what we're covering next week, so that'll be The Brutalist. So we were going to see if we could do Presents, but we're now going to do that the week after, guys. So then Flight Risk, what the fuck is Flight Risk? You keep going on about it, but I have no idea what it is. So I showed her the trailer to it, and after it finished, she turned around and just went, no.
Alright, so Becky will be reviewing The Brutalist.
What? You don't want to watch that? She's like, no. It's like, it looks...
We'll talk about it.
It looks great. I need to know where the decision for that hair was.
I need a monologue.
Yeah.
If the opening titles are Mark Wahlberg with Mark Wahlberg hair shaving his head into that, it's immediately in contention for top 10 of the year.
Yeah. Or even just pull it, just putting on like the clear fucking prosthetic skull cap that it is, and just sticking it down and going, "I'll do."
Oh, that would be good too. I mean, honestly, Flight Risk, it could be one of the worst films ever made.
Yeah,
there's a chance.
There is a chance of that. Yeah.
Also, Mel Gibson's a decent director, and the last film he directed got nominated for Best Picture. So,
yeah, I mean that's it. I mean he is an absolute piece of shit. There is no getting away from it. The guy is a dick. But
he directed Hacksaw Ridge, and that was pretty good.
Yeah. He directed Hacksaw Ridge, Apocalypto. You know, Passion of Christ. I mean, say what it was. It hit the mark.
Honestly, if they actually do the Passion of the Christ Resurrection,
they're gonna
de-age Jim Caviezel.
They're gonna.
But honestly, that thing could actually do like $200 million in the US opening weekend.
If it's released within the next 4 years, it will do $700 billion. And that is because everybody in America will be forced to see it on repeat. Passion of the Christ grossed $612 million.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Oh my God. Look. I mean, Caleb Deschanel was the cinematographer on it.
Yep.
Fucking. Oh my God. Yeah, so that's it. We've got Flight Risk, Brutalist, and our year end, which if we've got any new listeners on there who've not listened to our year end, we do our top 10, we do our bottom 10, we do our biggest 5 surprises, and we do our biggest 5 disappointments, and none of those are allowed to cross. So you can't have something on your surprises that's in your best of, you can't have something on your disappointments that's in your worst of.
Yeah, and suffice it to say, we won't be. I doubt we'll be doing trailers, and unless anything massive comes up.
Yeah, no, we
won't do any what else we've been watching unless they turn up on one of those lists. So we'll try and keep it to a decent runtime.
Yeah. So like things like, for instance, if the Order is on it, we probably won't talk about that too much because we talked about it this week.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Right, yeah, that was episode 570 of Film Bastards. Thank you very much, Ian.
Thank you very much, Mark.
And thank you very much, listeners, for listening. We shall speak to you next week. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.